Okay, should be working. So I'm going to use my last session with Tucker. I have 3 different personalities meeting Luna, so this should be pretty good at showing different possibilities of what could happen. Let me skip a little bit. That should be coming out soon. Okay, so here I come. Now notice I have the dog under control. It's very important. You don't want the dog to be like pulling you up there all excited or... So Luna's got her head low, tail's low, and right here, Tucker gets really stiff. You see how his tail stopped moving? His head, like everything is just really still about him. That's a good indication that he's going to snap. So I want to reset him. I'm just pulling him away. If I was to correct him while he was in that still, give him a snap or something, could actually cause him to go after her. So she comes around again, or no, she goes to poop or something. Let me fast forward through that.
You're done. Yep. At least it's in the lead. Come here, Luna.
So Taylor...
No, come here. You're such a jerk.
Gets a little chatty when she's nervous.
Luna, come. What are you doing? She's like, there's just so much going on. Come here.
So she's not being very assertive at this point. But again, it's like right there, he's pretty still. And I was just waiting for her to, I wasn't paying attention and he snapped. So he's going to get put down on his side. I don't have to like force him down or something like that. I just kind of push him over and nudge him. Now I'm waiting for his legs to relax, whether back or front. I want them to be fully resting on the ground. He can't lift his head up. Like if there's other people around and they're making noises or the dog is whining or something like that, like she's doing, those noises will cause him to lift his head because he wants to see what's going on. He wants to get up. I'll massage him to relax his muscles so his legs can relax. Once his body's relaxed, then he'll start to relax his mind and he'll start to get like sleepy. At that point, I'm just going to stand up and go back to doing what I was doing. I'm not going to talk to him or tell him he's a good boy or anything like that. So basically, when he misbehaves, I'm going to put some pressure on him. I'm going to be dominant and I'm going to put pressure on him. When he's giving me what I want, I'm going to take that pressure off. So that's the reward, is I'm just taking the pressure off. Right, let me skip ahead again. But ideally, if you have a fence or something like that, so they can meet through the fence, then you can avoid, catastrophe, which is what would have happened if that fence wasn't there. And just because things don't go well at first doesn't mean they can't go well. You just have to let the dog know what you expect from him, and that that they can trust you, that you have this under control. If I have him under control and I have her under control, then everybody sees that I have everything under control, and it makes them feel more relaxed and more safe.
Kind of. That way I can...
So the reason I don't want her coming in, I don't want the owner coming in, is because her dogs tend to kind of stay behind her, and she kind of empowers them. So I don't want her like energy in the situation. It's better with two people that they, don't know or at least respect. So Taylor is a
You love
horrible
that? I'm literally
cameraman.
just recording the ground right now, though. Luna, you're not.
So I'm gonna skip ahead some more. I mean, basically what I'm doing is I'm coming up behind Luna with Tucker to let him sniff her butt. You don't want to.
Can you hold that for 1 second?
You don't want a lot of. You don't want any face-to-face contact.
Luna.
Okay. So then we're gonna kind of switch things up so that he's in front, and now Luna's gonna come up behind so that she could sniff. Now you notice I don't have a lot of, I don't have tension on the leash.
Tucker's tail started wagging. We said, "Good girl."
And I'm just kind of stopping for a minute so I could see the reaction. Tucker's the king of avoiding, so he's gonna
No.
look away and so forth.
No. You're not listening. No. Down. Wait, you can't take it and have the camera. There you go.
I'm getting a little frustrated at this point. Just decide to take over. So them walking in heel like that is good. They're doing something together, and I'm in control of it. Now they're walking next to each other, and they're doing something together, which is focusing on me. So now I can bring her in front, let him smell. I can bring him in front, let her smell. The reason I let hers go is because I can control her vocally or whatever if I don't want her to get too close.
I'm gonna move that real quick.
And I'm not worried about her lunging after him. He's the one who's most likely going to do any lunging. So again, she gets a little sniff. She moves away. That's good. You don't want a lot of prolonged contact at first. Just little, short few second bursts, and then keep it moving. I mean, if you go up to a fence or something like that, and both dogs go into a play bow or a play hop, and they start running back and forth and they're playing, that's a really good indication that things are going to go fine. Let them kind of play a little bit through the fence for a while, get comfortable with each other that way, and then you can open the door, do some walking around, make sure you don't see any signs of things going bad, and then you can just basically let them go. Good idea to keep leashes on them. Let them drag the leashes for a while. That way if something does happen. I'm just using the stick to keep space. I don't want her crowding him at all. Any stick or whatever work fine for that. But it's good to keep leashes on them. That way if something does happen, you can grab the leashes and without getting your, grab them by the collar or something like that and getting your hand bit.
Yeah.
So his jaw, his mouth is open, his tongue's hanging out, he's nice and relaxed right there. That's good, but sometimes you'll see when the other dog comes close,
You really should just block that off.
they'll close their jaw, or maybe they'll start doing some nervous lip licking or something like that. That's an indication that they're uncomfortable.
Oh, just this side? Is the fencing there? Oh. Does she have zip ties? Do you have zip ties? Nice. Well, yeah, there's a big hole thing right in your face. We'll find you a nice big walking stick.
You see it right there. He closed his jaw, he turned his head away, he got a little nervous, started licking. So when you see stuff like that, you want, that interaction to be short and then move the dog away or keep things moving. Sorry about the shoddy editing, and I know there's a watermark in the finished product of this. This is just free software or whatever.
She wants to go for a hike.
See, he's avoiding. He's just the king of avoiding, pretending that this isn't really happening. So, again, forcing him to deal with it, like grab the leash, come on, let's go, let's keep things moving, keep walking, forces him to deal with it, doesn't give him time to just avoid it. See how he relaxed as soon as we got up and started moving? Later on, once we do all the dogs, we go out into the woods, and it's good to have an activity. I'm going to go find another video. It's good to have an activity like that for them all to do together because it keeps their mind off of things. There's so many things to smell and check out and what have you. I think this is the next one. Okay, so here comes Dexter. Dexter's a little bit more social, a little less insecure, whereas Tucker's like an insecure dominant. Dog gets too close rather than run and hide. He's just going to go snap at him. Okay, so he was a little excited. She pulled away and reset. That's good. He's very focused, and the end result is he pulls her over there. So the end result was she didn't really have control. Tail wagging doesn't mean that they're friendly, doesn't mean that they're happy, it just means excitement. So as far as the tail goes, Luna's tail's down, it's relaxed, it's wagging, that's all good.
Yeah.
His tail's level, it's wagging, that's all good. If it's still, bad. If it's sticking straight up, bad. You want to correct that. We saw the still earlier with Tucker. But if, the dog comes in and the tail just goes whoop, stand straight up, that's bad. You want to, again,
do you want me to take that thing?
Pull the dog away, reset, correct it. Once the dog is away, you want to pull it away so it's not facing the dog. Sometimes when they're still or something like that, and you correct him, it'll just cause the dog to go after the other dog.
Todd, what's his working level?
Carry forward this.
No.
So Dexter's more of like the happy humper. That's my biggest concern at this point because Luna's not fixed
Can I
and
put this away first? I don't know how to like.
you have to earn that with her. She's not going to just let somebody go and freaking try to mount her. She's going to snap at them and bite hard. So that's what you want to do. You want to come up, let the dog get some sniffs from behind like that. When the dog turns like that, you want to correct them in the opposite direction. So if they turn their head to the right, you want to give them a leash snap so that their head moves to the left. You want to let them know that, just let it happen. You don't want eye contact. So right there, I would be giving him a little leash snap every time he turns his head. And it doesn't have to be super, just enough to let him know, leave it alone, just leave it.
He didn't even realize he was going to do that.
And then once she's gotten a sniff of him a couple times or whatever, then you're just going to turn around. See, that's good. She got in a sniff. He didn't even notice. She's picking up information about him. And then we'll just do the other dog. So he's sniffing. She turns. Right there, correction. Didn't listen the first time. Again. Just let them know. You don't have to be nervous about it. You don't have to be concerned. If they feel like you got things under control, you're controlling them, you're controlling the other dogs, then none of the other dogs have to take that position. They don't have to exhibit any kind of dominant or controlling behaviors. You want to look out for, we're talking about mounting, and it doesn't matter, male, female, male, male, female, female, whatever. They'll still mount, and that kind of behavior is most of the time you see it early on, in the first few days or even in the first few minutes, because they're trying to establish who's who and what's what. By you correcting it or addressing it, you're letting them know nothing's what's what. You got things under control. You're in charge. So what they'll do is they'll come over alongside of the other dog, rub their shoulder up against the side of them, or put their head, their chin, up over the back of the other one. Or if they go up on the side of them, they'll kind of motion as if they're going to lift their front paw over. You want to address the dog that's doing that behavior. There's a little face-to-face action right there. It makes Luna a little uncomfortable. She steps away a bit. Right here. He comes up and he got corrected. See how he lifted his head up? If he wasn't on a leash, he would have came over the top of her with his head and either just rested it there like I'm dominant over you, or he would have tried to mount her. And she most definitely would have snapped at him. So I'm letting him know right now I disagree with that dominant type of behavior. I want him in the most submissive position possible, and I want him to relax. So him putting his paw forward like that means he's going to try to get up. He's very distracted by whatever the sounds or the other dogs are doing or whatever. So he's going to keep picking his head up or trying to look over there. And I'm going to keep disagreeing. I'm just basically using my fingertips and I'm kind of like pushing him down, or I'm giving him a little squeeze right there, a little claw action. And then I won't do it once he's got his head rested. I just disagree every time he wants to try to get up. I'm not forcing him or pinning him or holding him or something like that. I want him to do it on his own. Once he's relaxed, again, just get up, walk away, keep doing what we were doing. Because we have like an insecure dominant dog and a dog who wants to mount and all that stuff, that's why we do a lot of this. We're just going to keep things moving and just keep the introductions very brief, and then we're going to move along. Like I said, if they go into play bow and all that stuff and they start running around back and forth playing, you don't have to do this so much. I just figured that worst case scenario, there's some good examples here on what to look out for. Some of it's pretty subtle too, just like that still behavior. Like obviously I wasn't paying attention when Tucker snapped at her because he didn't growl, he didn't bark, you know what I mean? He didn't show signs that people typically think, are what to look for. Very, very quiet, very still. And we'll see a little bit more of it when the other dog comes out. We still got another dog to go. I think she's coming out now. And that's pretty good that they can relax and stuff around each other. But if you may notice that one dog will always keep its eye on where's the other dog. That's not good if they're really concerned that they always have to pay attention and keep their eye on where's that other dog. That means they're pretty uncomfortable. And that kind of behavior you might see where, you do the introduction, maybe they even play together, or you go on a hike or something, and everything seems like they're getting along fine, and then you go in the house and things quiet down, and you might notice one dog always paying attention to where's that other dog. A lot of times that can end up with the dog just lunging after the other dog. Like Luna's not paying attention, but he's showing that he's concerned about her presence. And this happens when things settle down. Here comes Cashmere, and there's some. So Luna's got her head low. That's good. If you're coming in face to face, it's respectful. See how she's coming in like that, creeping in. It's one thing if she's waving her head a little bit and trying to pick up a smell, and she's got her paw up right there. Right there? That means she's going to strike. So basically, she gave her correction, but I want her to follow through. So she's putting pressure on the dog right now and waiting for the dog to give up, submit by sitting down and acknowledging that she's being challenged. So that's good. Reset. We're going to do it again.
The reason I had you do this is because she was lifting her paw.
So now you see she's not paying attention. Her jaw is relaxed. She's a little bit more relaxed this time. Ideally you can walk back and forth along the side of the fence so that they don't have face-to-face contact. If you put one dog sideways, or like I'm going to do here, I could either shove her butt up against the fence or lay her down. And then I can invite the other dog over to take a sniff. See, this way there's no eye contact. There's no challenging.
Okay.
You know, some dogs may not want to sniff. They may want to avoid it. You kind of gotta coax them to do it. So you lift up her leg a little bit there. She got her information. She's done. Now I would do the same thing if I was on the other side of the fence. I would put Cashmere's butt up to the fence so that Luna could sniff it. That way, before there's physical interaction, you know, coming inside the fenced-in area, they've both had a chance to. See, I don't want her to go in, crowd her face to face like that. And now the paws up again. She should have gotten a snap for that. It's funny how you pick things up after you get to see it on camera. So I just want to be able to properly correct her if need be, because she's another one. She's very insecure dominant, which means that she's uncomfortable with dogs in her close proximity, and rather than you know, move away or something like that, she's just going to snap at them. So I'm going to correct any kind of curling her body towards Luna or making any kind of eye contact or anything like that.
Curl her body and try to sit down, deny access to smelling. That just shows that she's insecure around other dogs.
Yeah, they'll do that too. They'll tuck their tail or they'll try to sit down because they don't want to allow the other dog to smell. Now you see that's the reason. Let me back it up a little bit. That's the reason I wanted the mom out of the picture before, because the dogs will kind of tend to hide behind her and empower themselves because of her presence. So again, we'll keep things moving. It helps them relax.
4 cats, it was chaos. They didn't train her at all. She was like running out in the road, getting hit by cars. No, leave it.
Any interactions you want to be brief? See how she keeps sitting down?
I'm going to have you go, and then I'm going to creep up behind her, let her sit in the butt.
You see, she just wants to be near the mom, which takes her focus off of, you know, the introduction.
No.
There we go. Yeah, Luna just wants to be social. See, she doesn't want any trouble. She doesn't always pick up sometimes that, you know, on what the other dogs are telling her. There was a little gesture from Tucker right there. Do not pass. Watch. See it? That's controlling behavior. So that's one dog trying to control another dog, telling it what it can and can't do. It's best if you don't allow that. If you're the one controlling it, then all the dogs know that you're in charge, and they don't have to do those behaviors, which could cause fights.
Kick rock.
See, it's good if they can casually walk next to each other. It's even good if they can casually walk with her. That's fine. Now I'm not concerned about her like because she would rather avoid Luna so she can be dropped. Luna's more curious, so she would want to go over to sniff her, so I would keep her on leash a little bit longer.
I got a lot to keep my eye on.
Dexter is still on leash because he is more curious and more likely to go, like if they go off far away from me like that and he does some kind of dominant gesture towards her, she would snap at him. And that's why he's still on leash. So everybody keeps moving. That way they could pee in different places, they could smell it. That's good. I'm pointing out to Luna that there's some pee over here to smell. It's just a way of, picking up information about the other dog without, being in anywhere near proximity of them. And they could do that whole thing and she'll pee on it. Yeah.
Oh, he wouldn't leave the kitchen. He wouldn't come in the living room.
Okay, so she turns, they get a bit of close proximity, a little face-to-face action, which is fine because things are a little bit more relaxed now, but we want to keep it short. So a couple seconds and then boom, Luna, come on, and then we just keep things moving again.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want them to have time to like lock eyes and get uncomfortable and stiff and still. Once they get still, it's gonna happen. So any yelling or sudden touching or anything like that will set them off. Again, controlling behavior.
Who's that? Really? Cool.
Okay. So she's a lot more relaxed there, the little one. So if you get to this point and they're starting to relax and maybe you haven't seen play yet, we're all going to go for a little hike here. Yeah, we're all going to go for a little hike here. That way there's a lot for them to be preoccupied with. There's, different smells in the woods and lots of territory to mark and stuff like that. So they have more things to focus on and they can actually do those activities together. And it kind of creates more of a pack because they're marking territory together. They're claiming territory because there's a lot of deer and bears and stuff up there. So there's poop. There's deer poop everywhere up here.
Kind of like a Chihuahua pit bull mix, but she was a smaller size, maybe like 35 to 40
Again, don't want it to last too long. It's okay to get a little sniff like that as long as they're not trying to go over the top. But you don't want it to last too long.
Want to head down there?
Okay, yeah, so now we're going to go down. We're going to do a a little hiking. I gotta go to that video. And right here. Again, there's not much really going on, but just want to show you how much more casual it is. Because everybody's got something going on. They're smelling stuff. They're not so focused or preoccupied on each other. They can even go smell the same thing and be nose to nose, and then it's just like on to the next smell,
Tucker, here.
See what I mean? Everybody's got something going on. It's cool. This is where they can start having, the freedom to be dogs and to be themselves. If that's not an option, going off leash somewhere, that's cool. But you can give them a little bit more freedom, maybe use a flexi or something like that, or drag a long line or something. If you don't have a long lead, you could clip a few leashes together if you got some extra leashes, or tie a rope to the end of the leash. If they got 20 or 30 foot of rope dragging behind them, you can always grab it or step on it if they decide to take off or something. But you can see this is now just become a group activity that they're all doing together.
You want a fish tank? Fish tank right there.
They were, before we focused on the fish tank, a little sniff and then back off to doing what they're doing.
Oh yeah. Probably.
She's a little more space.
Yeah, like. That mine or yours?
Another video here. This one. Again, not a whole lot going on here. Just casual, and again, still under control. If they go too far, then I call them back. See, they pass each other like that, not looking at each other. They got more stuff to focus on, so they don't have to stop and look at each other and whatever.
Good.
That's good social behavior.
Do you want me to keep recording this?
Good social behavior. Everybody's doing
Yeah.
their own thing and not paying attention to each other and keeping their heads low when passing. Nobody's doing any controlling behavior, so that's good. I don't know if much else is going on here.
It's not burning food. Oh, ew. Got that on video.
Hey, when you gotta go, you gotta go. So yeah, if something does happen and something breaks out, fight breaks out or something like that, you want to be careful. First of all, don't freak out, don't panic, don't yell, don't scream. Just stay calm, and you want to wait for them to get a hold of each other. If, say, one has the other one by the neck or something like that, and the other one doesn't have a bite on the other dog, and you go to grab that dog's collar, it could accidentally bite your hand. That's what put me in the hospital. So you want to wait for them to both have a hold of each other before you go grabbing any collars. And like I said, it's just leave the leashes on them. It's good to leave the leashes on them. That way if something does happen, you could safely grab the leash rather than trying to grab their collar. But what you want to do is grab a hold, whether it's two of you or just one of you, grab a hold of the collar, try to get it up high on the neck, lift up, and then twist the collar so it tightens around their neck really tight. And basically what you want to do is choke them out. Their gag reflex will engage, and they'll have to open their mouth and let go. You don't want to rip them apart because then you could tear something or whatever. But you want to choke them out. Once they let go, you want to pull them away from each other so they're no longer facing each other. And then you want to lay them down like I did with the other dogs before, relax them, and then go back into some kind of activity like this where you're walking again together. You're going to want to keep them on leash, and then obviously correct any behavior if they growl or any still behavior or anything like that. It doesn't mean that they can't get along or something. These initial greets didn't go well through the fence or whatever. Doesn't mean your dog doesn't like other dogs or something like that. It just means they have to be directed, they have to be guided and shown what not to do and what to do.
Yeah, you're using a hoe.
I don't know if this is a dog you're adopting or something. If it doesn't work out, you can bring it back and try again. Or if this is just like you're just moving in and the dogs are going to live together and that's that. But you don't want to end up separating them in the house and doing that whole thing where you'll end up creating separate territories and it'll just get worse from there.
You gotta take
even if they fight,
I think he's been putting them on
you want to let them know that that's not allowed.
Show your back.
And then bring them back together.
What's going on with his meds too?
Even if you bring them back together for only a few seconds, you don't want the last thing that they remember as a fight. Because they'll just continue the fight next time they see each other.
Okay.
You want to end it always on a positive note. Actually, that does happen right around here somewhere. It was off camera. The camera was off. And he was just sitting, Tucker was just sitting, and then Luna just kind of beelined it right to his nuts. She just stuck her nose right in there, and his eyes bugged out. He got real nervous for a second, and then he just snapped at her. And he grabbed her. He didn't really bite down hard. He grabbed her, and she held back from biting him back. But by the time I got over there, she did kind of bite him or at least scrape him with her tooth. But she really, she didn't want to fight, so you want to address the one who's...
I was saying that you were able to get Tucker and Cashmere together now?
Hold on. You want to address the one who's, being the more aggressive or whatever. So, what I did was addressed him, calmed him down. There's some of that. I think she turns the camera on.
Well, it's also you're in control. Yeah.
I think she turns the camera on after it happens. So let's go find that video. What's this one here? Okay, so this is after the altercation. I'm just checking for once he grabbed her, but he didn't hold with enough pressure to break any skin or anything. Now I'm just checking him out.
Luna didn't grab him. No.
He has like a little bald spot and his skin was a little red. So I thought if her tooth just scraped him or something like that. He's very sorry.
It was my fault. I was petting him and I let Luna come in. He was doing okay and then he got tense. Yeah. As I went to say no and grab the powder. But once again, human error. I shouldn't have let. Yeah. Yeah, it was my fault for letting Luna in. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what I'm saying there is that right there. When I'm petting him, I'm creating a space around me that Luna can't come into. Because I don't want to create any like jealousy issues. If she was to come in like in between us or something like that, that would cause a fight, or come in like to smell him or something. So I'm just saying to Luna, wait your turn basically. That helps Tucker be
Spit back at him.
Feel safer and more secure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Silver lining.
I was literally I was just gonna say, you want me to take a picture of that?
Silver lining was it.
No.
After having an altercation, he bonded a little bit more with his pack, which was an issue that they were having. So, okay, so jealousy, that's a thing that can cause an issue. We got through the initial introduction part. Food can cause an issue, or resource guarding of any kind, toys, territorial space. A dog may be territorial over its bed or something like that, or crate even. So you want to dog proof your house before bringing a new dog in. You want to introduce him. You want to do some kind of an activity together, like hiking or something, where you're in charge, where you're in control. You want to get him good and tired out. When you get back to the house, the dog who lives in the house should go in at heel first. So that dog goes in with the person. That dog is at heel. The next dog can come in also at heel into the house, and then don't just like let him go or whatever. Bring the dog around, the new dog, show the dog around the house. If there's any rules, like obviously if it tries to jump on the counter or something, you're going to correct that. If you don't want it in a bedroom or something like that and it heads towards that door, you're going to correct it, tell it no, move it away from that door. You're going to want to remove any kind of toys, food bowls. You don't want food like, if a dog is a picker and there's some food in a bowl, you don't want to leave that laying around. Even water can be an issue at first. I don't know these dogs, so you never know. After the whole thing, the whole day, you think they're getting along great. Things settle down at night. Then you're going to see, you could see one dog is always paying attention to where the other one is, concerned about the other dog, and then they lock eyes, and then boom, it's just a lunge right then and there. So that's when you're going to have your most problems, is when things settle down. So ideally, at night, when it's time to relax, you want to, if you can, put them both in a crate so that they can, get used to each other, get used to sleeping next to each other, but not have like direct access. Plus, it'll give you a chance to see if there's any discomfort when they settle down and they make eye contact, that they can do it safely through a cage rather than physically able to get to each other. Any growling or trying to take a toy from the other one, or if the other dog approaches while it has a toy and one dog growls, you want to address that. Feeding, again, I would feed them in their crates next to each other so they get used to it. You're going to want to do both of those for at least a week or two at least. If you're feeding them, like when you're feeding them out in the open, the dog cannot go over and stick his nose in while the other dog is eating, or even approach the other dog while it's eating. It should give the dog space. If a dog is finished eating and there's no food left in the bowl and it walks away from the bowl, the other dog cannot go over to that bowl and see if there's any food in it. That could be an issue. So you just want to address and correct the dog for if he goes over to check out what's in the other dog's bowl. And then when the food is done, you want to take the empty bowls and just take them off the floor or whatever. But very important, you make sure there's nothing, no toys or food or water, especially when you first get home. And when you come home from a hike, they're going to be, thirsty or whatever. You could fill up a bowl of water, set it down in front of one, and just like the bubble when petting, let the other dog know it can't approach. It has to keep its distance. When that dog's done drinking, you pick the bowl up, and then you just do the same thing opposite with the other dog. I can't think if there's anything else really pressing. If it's easier to get a hold of me, I don't Facebook on my phone, so the only time I see it is I don't even check it every day. But, if you need anything, you can text me or call me if you're having an issue or something and you're in the middle of it. My cell phone is 860-798-7536. I think that just about covers everything. I think that should help. Well, I wish you guys luck. It seems like you're having fun down there. Is this, you can answer me later, but is this Gus and your dog or something like that? Or did you get a new dog? Let me know. We'll talk to you guys soon. Good luck.